Hey, how are you? Let me can you guys hear me? Please let me know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Yeah, cuz YouTube then switched everything up, guys. And I'm so confused on how to utilize all this. So please give me a minute. Of course, we're going to let everybody come into the live stream anyway. So please give me 1 second. Thank you. Shout out to everybody in the live stream right now. I know I usually don't do it this late. Depending where you guys are, it's about 7:45 p.m. where I'm at. But yeah, like I said, YouTube switched like everything up. Oh, 4:44. Shout out to you, Christina. Shout out to Esco. Shout out to Lene. Shout out to Conscious Creations. Okay. Give a little bit longer for people to get in this live stream. Again, I'm still trying to figure out the new settings and the new everything. Okay. While we're waiting, guys, shout out where you guys are from. Please hit the like button. Please let me get the thumbs up. We're gonna talk astrology. We're gonna talk tarot. I just want to vibe out with you guys. I just want to answer questions. Any questions you have concerning tarot, concerning astrology. I want to go into the importance of tarot, the importance of astrology, because a lot of people, hit me up and they ask me, they're like, you know, is it really a purpose to getting into this stuff? Is it really worth it, or can I just meditate and do yoga and you know, uh, just live my life? Okay, give me one more second, guys. Okay, okay. Well, I'm just gonna wing it, you guys. Hopefully everything is good. Like I said, they must have just changed these settings. Like, 'cause I was just on here not too long ago. Thanks for the thumbs up, everybody. Please put the thumbs up. All right. Shout out to you, Mel Love. Thank you for coming into the live stream. Yeah, we're gonna talk astrology and tarot. So I think we can get into it. All right. So first of all, uh I hope everybody had a good autumn solstice. I mean not solstice, equinox, okay? All right, I hope everybody took advantage of the video before that I did before, okay? Oh, thank you, Conscious Creations. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate that. Anybody that donates, I really appreciate that. So thank you, Conscious Creations. Um, so I hope everybody took advantage of that jewel that I dropped in the last video. Okay. That jewel that I dropped in the last video when I gave you guys the portal and how to create your own portal. All right. So, if you did take advantage of that, best believe when it comes to your manifestations, of course, things take time. Okay. And it really depends on your energy and your power as well. Remember, this is all from you. This is why you have to make sure that you're taking care of you, that you're taking care of your energy, that you're taking things to the next level. Okay. So, is there any questions before I get into the lesson, or is there any questions concerning the equinox that just passed, the autumn equinox? Is there any questions concerning that? Oh, Echo said that water fast was no joke. Yeah, I know. Like I said, just to show that discipline. I mean, you guys didn't have to, kill yourselves, but it's just to show discipline because that's how you offer to Saturn. Okay, Saturn is a whole different planet. It wants you to really prove yourself. Okay, you got to really prove yourself when it comes to Saturn. So yes, it takes time, and you will have to abstain from something that's really dear to you. The more that it's dear to you, the better it is that you abstain for it during during the fall equinox. Okay, so I'm guessing there's no questions concerning. Um, okay, so we got Charles. Hey, shout out to you, Charles. Thanks for coming into the live stream. Aubrey, appreciate you for coming into the live stream. Let's see. Can the same fall equinox portal you taught us to make work in general when it comes to spells involving Saturn? Um, well, not necessarily because this is specifically made for the fall equinox. Okay. Now you can do um, if you do a ritual with Saturn, you can just use Saturn symbol. Again, there's no real rules to this. It's just that particular thing was created for the fall equinox. But you could just use Saturn symbol, and you can have whatever you're trying to gain. But just know that when you're doing manifestations with Saturn, you're going to have to put in a lot of effort. But the thing is that you'll get a lot back. Okay, that's the key thing that you want to remember, guys. Um, most people think that Jupiter will give you the most, and Jupiter will give you a lot. But the thing is, Saturn will actually give you the most, but you have to put in a lot of effort. It's not like Jupiter where you can get away with a lot, where Jupiter is just really giving energy. Okay. So let's see. What should we do with the portal now that it's over? You can use that same portal for any fall equinox. Okay. You can use that same portal for any fall equinox. From now on, I'm going to be giving you guys a portal for every solstice and for every equinox that you can use coming up. Okay. So just save put it somewhere safe. Save your portal for next year. I know it seems like a long time, but trust me, time moves very quickly. And like I said, what you're going to have 4 portals soon before the winter solstice comes up. Okay. um I'm going to give you guys a portal for the winter solstice. All right. The same formula, but it's going to look different, of course, because we're dealing with a new energy. Conscious creations, is it too late to do the portal? Yes, let me see. September 25th. The energy for the equinox dips out around the 24th. Okay, it's from the 20th to the 24th. That's when the portal is open, and that's when you can really utilize this energy. Okay, but again, if you just want to do a ritual for Saturn, period, then you can just use Saturn symbol. Okay, if you're, again, for those of you that are into doing the rituals. Okay, is there any other questions concerning? Oh, Aubrey, thank you. My birthday was very beautiful, to say the least. I was with a lot of good people. I was with a lot of friends. And like I always tell everybody, I always say, you guys got to get out there. You guys got to, um, make sure that you're enjoying yourselves on this planet. Time is very short. Time moves very fast. Okay, so what I try to do is enjoy myself with friends and family. And I suggest you guys do the same thing. Get out, and have fun, and also at the same time build and do the things that you need to do. Take responsibility and build your foundations and get your income. Okay. That's very important, but you have to balance everything out. It's not all just work and it's not all just play. You have to balance everything out. It's very important. But thank you, Aubrey. Thank you for asking. Okay. So I guess there's no other questions concerning this the equinox, but like I said, get ready for the winter solstice coming up in a couple months, of course, months from now. But like always, what I'll do is I'll drop a video beforehand. So just make sure you guys are tuned in. Like if you haven't did so yet, make sure you hit the bell, the bell notifications. If you're, I'm guessing you guys are subscribed to me, right? Hit that bell notification so you get those notifications when I do a new video. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about, guys, I want to talk about the good old tarot. Okay. And the importance, because again, I had a question that I thought was very useful of why use the tarot? Why use astrology? Why are these things important? Are important. For the number, and now here's the catch 22 that I want to bring to you guys with this is that remember that if you reach a level of consciousness, you necessarily don't need these tools. It's the fact that we are so low in consciousness at this moment that we need the tools like crystals, like rituals and symbols. We actually need these tools more so today than any other time in 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 the human history that we know of. Okay, because in other times they had they weren't so distracted the way that we are today. There's a lot going on in our world today because of the internet, because everything is moving at a fast pace. If you were born 200 years ago, life will be moving at really, really slow pace. And this is why everybody had diaries back then. This is why we had a lot of creators back then. We had a lot of painters. We had a lot of artists. We had a lot of poets. We still have those today, but not on the level that we did, all the way back then when people had time. So now things are moving at a faster pace. We're connected to the whole world. Some of you that are all the way on the other side of the world from me, but we're here right now. And that's a good thing, but it's also it makes us very distracted. So this is why we need these tools to understand ourselves even more. Now I want to let you guys know what the tarot is used for, period. Because what most people think, maybe not you guys, especially if you've been following me for a while, most likely know that the tarot is not all the fluff that people make it seem like psychic readings and stuff like that, and you're trying to predict the future. That's not actually what this is for. um I don't know why my audio keeps saying it's low. So if you guys can hear me loud and clear, please let me know. I mean, I know you guys have said that you can hear me, but for some reason the audio is looking really, really low, and I'm not sure why. But I don't even want to mess up anything. All right. Like I said, it took me just like 20 minutes just to figure this whole thing out because everything has changed as far as live streaming on YouTube. So I don't even want to mess with it. But yeah, okay. So audio is perfectly fine. All right. So yeah, many people think that these tarot cards are used just to predict the future, and a lot of people they a lot of people give tarot a bad name. Same thing with astrology, because astrology gets a bad name for the horoscopes online, like where they try to lump everybody into one thing. So if you were born September 25th today, right, you'd be considered a Libra. And then you go look at a horoscope and it's telling you all this great stuff all about Libras. But as we know, most likely you guys been following me for a long time. We know that's not true, and we know that's fluff. So now the tarot, okay, now I want to emphasize one thing. The tarot represents the feminine, astrology represents the masculine. Now, I want to tell you why, because your astrology chart doesn't change. That's why it's masculine. Okay. It's like a snapshot of when you were born, a snapshot of the sky when you were born. Obviously, that doesn't change. Not saying that you can't change through life. It's just your blueprint doesn't change. All right. Your conscious mind can change. That's what makes you, go through changes. So, for example, let's just say when you were young, you were really into emo stuff, right? And now you're into, spirituality stuff. That's because in your conscious mind you made a change. All right. And most likely it's because you were inspired or you were influenced by something outside of you. But that doesn't change the fact of who you are on the inside, on the blueprint side of you. Okay. Now you can go against your nature, as we all know. All right. Human beings are the only creatures that we know of that can go against our true nature. Okay. We're the only ones. And that's because we have such developed conscious minds. So you could say to yourself right now, I don't want to be poor anymore. I'm going to start being rich and I'm going to pull in more income. And you can make that change. That's the good thing about being a human being, right? But it also can play out as a bad thing because you can get influenced in the wrong way as well, just like as you can get influenced in the right way. All right. So that's why you always got to pay attention to your programming. So back to, again, astrology. Your astrology reading doesn't change. Your astrology chart doesn't change. Even though you can change and you can go against your nature that is represented in the chart. Okay. Now, tarot is the total opposite. Tarot always changes because tarot goes off of your aura field. That's very important to understand. This is why sometimes it may seem like it's a psychic reading. Okay. Anybody who's telling you this stuff that uh you know, that'll give you certain timelines, like this is going to happen 4 days from now. And, that doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work like that. Okay. It's just, it has created this hype of being that. So people just latch on because it's the hype around it. But tarot was actually formulated to study thyself in every single moment. Okay. So you're judging the information or the aura that's around you. Now, remember, if anybody's ever had an astrology reading with me, when I go over your ruling element and I'm talking about how your aura field interacts with the environment and how you take in information from the environment, this is exactly what I mean. Because in every environment, you react differently. Okay. And that is going to give you different results. This is why it's feminine. It's always going to change. Okay. So you can get a tarot reading right now, right? And then get another one. It doesn't change that rapidly. I mean, you can get deeper into it. Anybody that's ever had a tarot reading with me, of course, we do multiple spreads. Okay. That's another thing. You can't tell, you can't tell much off of just one spread. But again, I told you how people do this, right? Hotep Peru, I tell you how people do this because they want to make more money. So they say, hey, we'll do $20 one spread. Right now, if you just do one spread, you're going to have a lot more questions than answers. Anybody that's ever had a tarot reading that way can probably tell you that before you know it, if you have the income to even do that, before you know it, you can spend like $400 on trying to find out what the hell is going on with you. And this is why I do my thing a little bit differently, where when you get a reading with me, there's no time limit because that's how it was intended. You can't have a time limit, or you're just going to be jipping people out of their money. Or if they don't have the money, guess what? They're not going to want to invest anymore. So they're going to be left with more questions and answers. Okay. So it's very, very important to understand this. The tarot was meant to be like a study guide. Okay. It's a study guide. So when, perfect example, what you can do. And another thing, guys, before I get into that, with the cards, this is a written rule with the secret societies, and you might have heard this rule before, you do not purchase your own cards. Okay. They have to be a gift. I don't know exactly why, okay, but this is just a rule that's been passed down for thousands of years, all right? You do not purchase your own cards, people. And you're probably wondering, like, dang, well, how can I get cards then? They are supposed to come to you. That's the key point. All right. So if the cards haven't came to you yet, then they're not meant for you to use yet. Okay. Not saying that they'll never come to you. And of course, you could say, well, I'm going to ask somebody to buy it for me. That's not how it works either, because you're still initiating it. The cards need to come to you. Okay. And you'll notice that that separates everything. That changes the whole dynamic, right? Because best believe that 99% of the people playing with tarot cards, right, didn't get these as a gift. All right. So that if you got them as a gift out of nowhere, somebody just gave you, like what happened to me was an older lady. She just so happened to say, "Hey, I have this deck right here. Um, you know, do you want it?" And I was like, I looked at the deck because I know that remember I told you guys that certain decks are not to be used because they're fake. All right. They have to be made in a certain way. If they weren't created by a mason, or if they weren't created by somebody in any of the number of the secret societies, if they weren't a mystic, if they weren't initiated, whatever, all these things, then they're not going to know how to create these. All right. They come with a specific energy. Remember, nothing, like, everything is made for a certain reason, because everything carries a certain energy, everything carries a certain frequency. That's why it has to be made in that certain way. Okay. Now, oh, Marley, thank you for coming to the live stream. You said, well, it's too late. I mean, but hey, even if you did buy them your own self, right, doesn't mean that you can't study them and use them. I'm just telling you the written rule that was passed down for thousands of years, that the cards need to come to you, and that will take out about 99% of the people that have them. And that will most likely cut out the fluff, because a lot of people that do have these cards, they don't know what they're doing with them, and they're giving tarot a bad name. Tarot gets thrown all over the place, when it comes to disrespect. Same thing with astrology, is because there's all these people, and it's a good thing that, there's many people into this stuff, right? But um, when that aspect is added and many people want to gravitate to something, but remember that a lot of the people today don't have the discipline to learn. They don't have the discipline to sit and practice. They don't have the discipline to study what needs to be studied. They just want to get into it. They just want to say that they do tarot readings, or they just want to get paid from doing tarot readings. But it takes time, and that creates the dynamic of tarot being, something that's not real. Okay. But our ancestors have used this science for thousands of years, and actually created many different things, and established many different things in this world based on tarot and astrology. Guys, if you've been following me for a while, astrology is, everything that we know of is built off of astrology. And also I can add tarot in there the same way. Okay. So, but those of you who do have a deck, again, if you bought the deck, that's totally fine. All right. I'm just letting you guys know about the written rule. All right. So if you do have the deck, okay, when it comes to tarot, 80% of the time, it's supposed to be used on your own. It's supposed to be used on your own self. Okay. 80% of the time. Now, you can, obviously, you can give readings to other people, but it wasn't actually intended for that in the beginning. It was only meant for you as an individual. The reason why people started doing readings for other people is because they became masters at this. They became masters at analyzing energy. Because think about what this is, guys. Think about what this is. I know my light is all bright and stuff. Okay. Think about what this is. This is a symbol. Okay. Now remember, symbols carry frequency. Remember that your subconscious mind uh goes off of symbols. It understands the language of symbols. It doesn't understand the written language. It goes off of symbols and feelings. Okay. So when somebody becomes a master at analyzing symbols, now remember, in order to analyze symbols, right, you got to know, you got to study symbols. You have to study, and you have to study things like, all right, this is why I say you have to know astrology, you have to know numerology, you have to know alchemy, because you're not going to understand the symbol. All right, you have to understand colors, right? The psychology of colors. If you guys want to learn, best believe, go and learn the psychology of colors. You have to understand art. You have to understand emotions. You see what I'm saying? You see how deep this can go? If you understand these things and you learn these things and then you start doing tarot, it's a whole nother thing. Okay. Again, numbers. Gotta understand numbers. Gotta understand planets. You gotta understand human psychology. Why would the hermit be depicted this way? Okay, forget the word the hermit. Okay, because the words were created later on. It was just the number and the image, you know? I want you guys to start thinking about this stuff. You know, really, when I get off this live stream, I want you guys to just look up if you don't have a deck, right? I want you guys to look up images of the Rider Waite deck or any other deck that's created by somebody that's initiate. Even the deck from Aleister Crowley. I know a lot of people dislike him, but he was an initiate. Okay. Or the builders of the Ataman deck. I always say the same three decks because those are the most powerful decks that we have. We have the Rider Waite deck, the builders of the Ataman deck, and then the Thoth deck created by Aleister Crowley. But what I want you guys to do after this live stream, I know it was, getting late at night, is just look at just pick one of the images. Okay. If you don't have the cards, you can just look them up on. If you do, just pick out one of the images and just ask yourself, why was it depicted this way? Just ask yourself, why was there these certain colors created this way? Why are these certain symbols? Okay. Why is there certain numbers of like with the Empress, right? There's a certain amount of numbers of stars on her crown. Why? You know, you get that's the whole point of bringing back your creativity, your sense of wonder. Okay. No, hold on. Let me answer some of these questions. I'm sorry, guys. I was on a roll. So conscious creations, how long did it take you to learn? I've been doing tarot, excuse me. I've been doing tarot since I was 12, but I'm always continuously learning. You know, knowledge is forever moving. So, I'm still learning. Okay. But I'm 30. I just turned 30, so-called 30. Okay. So-called 30. Right. Um, but so yeah, I've been doing this since I was 12. Okay. Uh, but yeah, you're probably asking, all right, when did I become good at it? Um, I started doing tarot readings professionally about 8 or 9 years ago. Okay. Any suggestions or best practices for learning? Again, you wanna study all the sciences. Remember that all these things were one. They weren't broken up until the late 1800s. This was just called the Great Work. The Great Work was alchemy, astrology, numerology, Kabbalah, tarot, and many more. Learning about crystals and human psychology, all mixed in one thing. It was one thing. It wasn't multiple things. It was just called the Great Work. Okay, so the best practice is to study all these things. Like I said, study the psychology of color, study art. Okay, study numbers, get into numerology, study astrology, study symbolism. Again, I know it sounds like a lot and I'm kind of giving you such broad things, but that's just how it is. I mean, it just takes it just takes a long, it takes a while, but once you grasp these things, I'm not saying that you have to be a master. Okay. I'm not saying that you have to be a master at any of these things. I'm not a master of numerology. Okay, that's not what I'm not a master of alchemy. Okay, but I know basic understanding of numerology and alchemy to help me understand astrology and tarot. You see, I know a basic understanding of Kabbalah to help me understand and become a master at astrology and tarot. So you might end up being a master in alchemy, but have little, some basic understanding in astrology or tarot. Again, you got to go to the direction that's calling you. Okay. You got to go in the direction that's calling you. All right. So if alchemy is calling you more so, then you want to put more time into understanding alchemy, but you also want to understand a little bit of all these other things that consist of the great work. Okay. I know I'm getting late with these questions. What if you don't know the time you were born? Will it still be close? Well, Haru, the time you were born is very important, though you can get some good information, but the time you were born is still going to be important. All you got to do is I forget exactly. I think you can just look it up online. There's a way that you can actually get your real birth certificate to get that time period. It's not that much of a challenge. I know plenty of people that have gotten that. So if you really want that, then you can get it easily. Now, if you do want an astrology reading with me, right, and you don't have your time, I'll give you a discount because you don't have your time. But I'll still give you the points that really matter. And then what I'll do is that I'll give you another reading when you find your time. Okay. And I'll do that for no charge for you. So if you don't know, your time, I might just make it a live session for you and we'll go dive deep and we'll talk about some things. And I'll give you a discount because you don't know your time. Okay. Let's see any other questions. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Enchanting. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah. All right. So basically the jewel that I want to give you guys though is that this this is more so a personal journey. Like I said, it became where you're doing readings for other people because certain individuals became so good at it and they were able to analyze reality really good, and they can help other people on their path. So those are back then, those were the true individuals that was helping people do that. Okay. It's just so happens that nowadays everything is so accessible. And it's like anybody can do it now because, before this, you know, tarot and astrology and numerology and stuff was only brought up to royalty. They were the only ones allowed to even learn this stuff. Okay, but now we're in the age of Aquarius, right? How does Aquarius work? Where everybody comes on equal footing. So now, but most people will say that's a good thing, right? But it also puts a lot of pressure and responsibility on you, on every single one of you, because now you are all responsible for yourselves. You can't rely on somebody higher than you to to hold your hand anymore. You can't rely on the government anymore. You can't rely on welfare. You can't rely on you know, all these things that we are used to, the kings and queens to take care of the kingdom. It's not how it works anymore. Now, what's happening is that we're all becoming on the same level because that's how Aquarius works. Now you have to use your own genius. You have to use your own mind. You have to start creating yourself or you're going to get left behind. Again, Aquarius is a masculine sign, people. You got to remember that. So it's not so forgiving and it's not so loving. So what you're going to see in these next coming years, of course, this is the beginning of it's the beginning of Aquarius, but guess what? It's going to start, Aquarius is going to really start hitting everybody. And again, you got to, you got to get your stuff together. All right. So what you can do, for my people that do have the deck, any of the people new in the live stream, what I did say that was passed down for thousands of years is that you're not supposed to purchase your own deck. The deck is supposed to come to you. And don't try to cheat by telling people to buy it for you and think that's going to be the same thing. The deck is supposed to come to you. So in all actuality, they say if the deck come to you, then you weren't meant to use it at the moment. All right, not saying that it won't come to you, but if you're one of those people that are just really, really fascinated with the tarot, it will come to you some way, somehow. Trust me. There's plenty of people that told me this. They're like, yo, I wanted to learn about it so bad. And all of a sudden, somebody just gifted it to me. Somebody random, or they walked into a spiritual store and they, I don't know. There's many different stories that I've heard. Okay. I was gifted my first one as well, Um, and like I said, if you were gifted your first one, like I did purchase other decks. Okay, but my very first one was gifted to me. That's my Rider Waite deck. That's the one I'm always showing. My other two decks, I don't show. Okay, I keep that just for me. Uh, okay. All right. So, oh yeah, I keep alluding to, what I want to tell you guys. So, when you first wake up in the morning, all right, remember how important when you first wake your subconscious mind is still open. Okay. What you can do is simply pull a card, shuffle it, shuffle it, pull a card, right? What you're going to find is a message for you. Now, again, if you're not, if you're not well learned in astrology, numerology, and stuff like that, and symbolism, well, just try to interpret it the best way that you can. Okay. You want to try to interpret it the best way that you can. And because, again, what you're going off of is your energy. All right. This is the card is speaking to your energy. That's how symbolism works. So your subconscious mind, you guys remember, never downplay your mind and your brain. Your mind is very, very powerful. Okay. It's super powerful. It's responsible for your whole reality. So don't downplay your power. Okay. This is why you must believe, because remember, I told you when you're working with tarot cards, you have to have a state of belief. Because people ask me, all right, when you're doing a reading, right? Like, what do you do when when you're flipping up the cards and telling people what the cards are? Okay. And I'm like, I command it to. I have so much faith and so much belief that I don't even question what I'm pulling up. I know. That's the thing. That's the difference, guys. You have to be in a state of knowing, not thinking. This is not astrology. This is feminine. So now you got to play by feminine rules. You have to be so confident, so in your own zone that you're not even questioning it. You just know. Okay? You don't have to do no, spooky ritual to make sure you get the right cards. The cards will come to you if you know. Now, if you don't know, then again, tarot is still not for you yet. Okay? Keep practicing. You got to keep, but you must know. Don't question yourself. Okay? You got to play by feminine rules. The feminine rules is a lot more extreme than masculine rules, right? So let's see. What if somebody gives you a tarot deck, but you're just not feeling it? Like you don't feel the symbolism, the colors, etc. I'm not sure what you mean, Enchanting. What exactly you mean that you're not feeling it? What do you mean? Are you saying you don't feel like you're using it? You don't feel like using it, or you don't feel a connection to it? What exactly do you mean by that? As somebody gifted you the tarot deck, it was meant for you to have. Okay, so somebody gifted me tarot deck one time and it was a dragon themed deck, and I love dragon. But I have been already reading with a day that you're using. I'm guessing you're saying that you know, I tried to be appreciative, but the affinity, particular picture color scheme just wasn't there. I didn't like it. I don't know why. Um, well, again, I mean, yeah, if you didn't like the deck, I mean, but just know that when something is gifted to you guys, um, you have to, we have to be, we have to pay a lot of attention to synchronicity. We have to, pay attention to these things. Things come to you for a reason. This is how you miss out on things, all right? Like people come to you for a reason, and we disregard that too. We just we're not paying enough attention. We're not seeing the importance of reality of when things happen to you. You meet certain people for a reason. You were born in a certain place for a certain reason. You're at where you're at right now for a certain reason. That's the whole thing of they're telling you to wake up. You gotta wake up and realize why. You know, I know we're all distracted. I know it's hard to really stay in the moment. Okay. You have to, but you have to realize, you have to think about this. You could be anywhere in the world right now. You could be anywhere. You could have met, there's, millions of people on this planet. You could have met anybody. Things happen to you, things come to you for a reason. You got to cherish that. You got to understand that. You got to stop taking things for granted so much. So I'm just letting you know that, if a deck comes to you, take it. You don't have to, I mean, you don't have to exactly like it, right? And you don't even have to use it. But here's the key thing about the feminine. You might not want to use it right now, but you never know 2 years from now how you're going to feel about it. So if somebody offers you a gift, take it. Be grateful that somebody even is appreciative to even think of you in that capacity. You don't have to use it. And this could go for any gift, okay? I'm dropping jewels for any gift, all right? Somebody gives you something, you're like, that's not what I wanted, keep it. Okay. Or use it, like let's just say it's like somebody bought you some clothes that you don't like and you really don't want to wear them. All right. I understand. Take it, right? And then maybe give it to somebody else that that likes those type of clothes. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Speaking on knowing, what's your thoughts on twin flames, if you don't mind? Uh Twin flames. Okay. I know that's a little off topic, but I can hop right back into the other things. Twin flames, guys. First of all, it's twin flames. There's multiple twin flames that you're going to encounter in life. And how the rules go is that you encounter a twin flame for every section of your life. Okay, so you have from birth to puberty. Okay, that's a section of your life. And best believe you have a twin flame during that time as well. Okay. Now, it might not be a sexual thing, of course, because you're young, but it's still like that best friend, that close encounter that you guys were almost inseparable, like that you guys really, we all have that person in childhood that was really important to us. That most likely is your twin flame for that section of life. Then you have another section of life, which is from puberty to young adulthood. Okay. And that's where you usually encounter your first love, right? Everybody usually encounters their first love between the ages of, let's just say, 13 to like 21. Okay. Somewhere down the line. Not everybody, of course. All right. But most of the time, we can all agree that we encounter our first love during this time. That is most likely your twin flame. Okay. Now, remember, some of these flames could add on, can stretch longer than these time frames. Remember, this is not like a concrete, so don't go around saying, 13 to 21. This had to be, in this order. Okay. It's, things are very loose. Okay. But I'm saying I'm trying to give you a visual picture. So I'm trying to put it in sections. Okay. Uh, so one twin flame could have lasted 2 sections of your life, or it could have been way shorter. I'm just trying to make you understand how this works. Okay. So again, now another section, which is young adulthood to mature adult. Okay, and so on and so forth. I don't really have to, but these are people that are here to make you better. Okay, so they're usually your total opposite. Okay, now here's the problem that we have in this generation is that we want somebody that makes us comfortable. We want somebody that does things the way that we do them. That creates good friendships. Actually, yeah, good associate friendships. But a best friend needs to be somebody that is making you better. Okay. They're usually the opposite, polar opposite of who you are. Okay. So for example, if you're considered an extrovert, right? You're gonna attract an introvert. It's just how it works. It's like two magnets. All right. If it's the same side is pointing to each other, what happens? It gets retracted away. That's just how it works. But if they're the total opposite, they come right in. Okay. So you got to remember that with the twin flame thing. All right. That, it's not going to, most likely the person's not going to do things the way that you like to do them, because you don't need that, because you already do it like that. Like, so why would you need somebody in your life that does exactly the same thing that you do? That's not what you need. You might want that. There's a lot of things that we want, but that's not what you need. And remember, you don't get what you want in this world. You actually get what you are in this world. Very key thing that you guys need to meditate on. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So all the people talking about your exes and stuff like that, you need to reevaluate yourself. All the people that go through all the mistakes in the world, and I mean, like I said, going through mistakes is important though. But I don't want to spend too much time on that topic. So let me get to these questions though. Let's see. Uh okay. Enchanting, I'll probably enchanting the moon in the eighth house. I really got to look at your whole chart, because I don't know which ruling your moon. I don't know which ruling your eighth house. I don't know where Cancer's at in your chart. A lot of variables go into understanding your astrology chart. So if you want an astrology reading with me, um, you can contact me at occulthealing22@gmail.com. Okay. I don't know if it's in the description of this video, because I don't even know what it looks like right now. Like I said, everything has changed. So I don't even know if it has my regular stuff in the description of this video. Okay. Hopefully it does. But again, any reading, any consultation, any of my services, guys, occulthealing22@gmail.com. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Marley. Like I said, I don't know. This whole thing is totally different. So I'm winging it. So let's see. What honestly okay, what honestly would happen, and I'm trying to debate, but somebody actually gifted it to him. Okay. Off topic from tarot, but I've called so many numbers. Okay. Oh yeah. So like I was saying though, okay. The tarot is really important for you personally. I'm gonna get into astrology too, guys, of course. But we always talk about astrology, so I'm putting that on the back burner right now. I'm getting into it, but I want to express tarot because tarot is just as important as astrology. Like I said, you got to use the masculine and the feminine. Okay, so you want to see where your energy's at every day. This is why I say you want to, in the morning when you first wake up, you want to catch yourself in that morning. There's so many things that you guys can do in that instance when you first wake up. That's like a portal in itself. Remember, I told you guys that's a portal in itself because it's a portal into your subconscious mind. Don't waste your time going downstairs eating eggs and bacon during that time. All right. You're literally wasting valuable energy. So much you can do. Like soon as you open up your eyes, there's so much you can do with that. Okay. So much you can do with that. Take advantage of that time. Say your affirmations. Envision the things that you want. Pull a card and try to decipher the message of the day. Okay. Use your intuition. You know, there's so many things. Write down things that you're grateful for. Uh, Exercise. I mean, if you don't want to do anything else, you can exercise. Okay, that's gonna put your mind in good spirits. You want to stretch, do yoga. You know, uh, be thankful. Like I said, think of things that you're thankful for. Say, "Dang, I'm so thankful that I have two arms." There's people that don't have two arms. Okay. Again, this is such an important time period, but yes, pull a card during this time. Try to decipher the message. Like I said, um, and before somebody asks me the question again on how to learn tarot, uh, again, what you need to study is symbolism, the psychology of colors. All right, the psychology of colors. You want to understand um symbols in all cultures too, which is sacred geometry essentially. So of course you could just say sacred geometry because best believe sacred geometry plays a key role. Everything is made for a certain reason. Okay, astrology plays a key role too. um I mean, so on and so forth. All right, and art is a big thing, right? Like art should be forefront if you want to study tarot. Okay, so you got to study art. And there was actually a book, guys, and I cannot remember this book's name for the life of me, and I apologize for that. There's a book, one of the best tarot books I've ever seen in my life, because they whoever the author was definitely a master, because when the way that they were breaking down tarot, they were pulling from many different things. They were talking about pieces of art. They were talking about certain books that certain story books that were written. They were talking about history. Look, I always say that history is so important. Guys, history is important. Okay, they was talking about psychology. All right. Psychology is the most important thing to understand here. All right. You got to understand how the human mind works. That's how you're going to understand you work. So if knowledge itself is the most important knowledge, then what does that tell you? What is the most important knowledge? Psychology. All right. Because psychology is going to help you understand yourself and others. I also told you that people is the currency, especially in the age of Aquarius. People is the new currency. You can gain knowledge by gaining people. All right. Some of the most intelligent people you think were on this planet, they just had a whole bunch of people that specialized in different things. Thomas Edison, for example. I want you guys to research Thomas Edison. All right. Because I want to show you exactly how this thing goes. We all say Thomas Edison is a genius, right? We were taught that in school, but he's not the actual genius. I mean, he is a genius in one way, that he knew how to understand social dynamics. He hired geniuses. Tesla was one of them. Okay, I want you guys to look this up. Yes, he stole ideas from Tesla because Tesla was working for him at one point in time. But again, he was a genius in social dynamics. Remember, I always tell you guys to read Napoleon Hill books. Same thing. Napoleon Hill says the same thing. He's like, yo, you don't have to know everything. Bring in people that specialize in things. So you can bring in somebody who specializes in marketing. Bring in somebody who specializes in branding. Connect with somebody who specializes in motivational speaking. Another person who specializes in selling things. Another person who specializes in creative thinking or inventive thinking. And just have your vision. Of course, the one thing you have to do is have your vision, though. You have to have a strong imagination. This is why Einstein said imagination is more powerful than knowledge. Why? Because if you don't have imagination, you're going to end up like Tesla instead of Thomas Edison. I want you guys to hear these jewels right now. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the imagination, there's two different types of, you're going to become either Tesla or Thomas Edison. Which one do you want to become? Of course, Tesla is, now that so many years later, we're kind of figuring out about him. We're kind of learning about him because knowledge is accessible right now. But guys, I'm trying to tell you, we're going to look this stuff up. So we could talk about astrology a little bit. Why is astrology important? Okay. Why is astrology important? Because astrology shows you the map of who you are. Okay. Astrology is so detailed. It's masculine, of course. Of course. It's all so many details. And when you get into the nitty gritty of it, people are like, how the heck do you do astrology readings the right way? Because you can do them the wrong way, like most people do, because again, they just want to say quick money. Okay. They want that quick money. Okay. I don't know why it said my connection was lost, but I guess my connection is back. I don't know. I don't know if it skipped or anything, but they want that quick money. It's easy, right? Especially with elusive topics such as these, because it's like, this is why this stuff can become so dangerous business wise, is because anybody can kind of sort of just make stuff up now. But the difference is you're not going to get results. You might feel good about something because that's essentially what they want to give you in astrology with the horoscopes. They just want to make you feel good. So they just say anything that can apply to anybody. Keep that in mind, that in the horoscopes and a lot of fake astrology readers, they say things that can apply to anybody. That's the key thing. Like we all go through, we all go through some kind of pain. So hey, just say, hey, you going through pain deep inside, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I am. Or there's something that you're really not doing at this moment. And you're gonna be like, yeah, that's true. Right? Doesn't that sound familiar, guys? I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to those two things, right? Okay. But, so astrology shows you the map, guys. So you can navigate the matrix. I think I've said this before. So you can navigate the matrix. Okay. Again, for example, knowing your ruling element. Okay. Anybody who's had an astrology reading with me, you understand exactly what I'm saying. Knowing your ruling element, you can get in where you fit in. And you can be prepared when you know you're about to get into an environment that is not what you fit in. Okay. You can be prepared instead of just winging it like everybody else, and you're just leaving it up to chance. But you can have a lot more control in this world if you know your astrology chart. This is why all powerful people know astrology. They might not. Here's the funny thing: it doesn't. A lot of them don't seem like they're into this stuff. A lot of them seem like they're these strict businessmen, businesswomen, and they only care about money and stuff like that. Don't fall for that stuff. Okay. You're falling victim to the image. You're falling victim to the judging by the book of the cover. I mean, yeah, judging by the cover of the book. That's what you're falling for every time. Just because somebody is rich doesn't mean that that's all they care about. Okay? Look for wealth. Now, wealth is when you have happiness with your riches, right? Because you can be you can have a lot of money, but then you're a slave to the money. You're working 14 hours a day. That's slavery. You're working 14 hours a day. That's slavery. That's not happiness, okay? I'm pretty sure we can all agree to that. But hey, if you're working 2 hours a day and you're making well income where you can take care of your family and yourself, that sounds like wealth to me, okay? Where you're only working 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and you can have all this extra time to do the things that you love because that's what true happiness is, doing the things that you love. So, whatever that is to you, if you like to paint, right, and you're not making the income that you would like off of painting, so you do something else for the sake of income for this moment, right? But then you only have to work, a certain amount of time. That's the whole reason why I gave you guys the How to Make Money from Home session, guys, because you can have a whole lot of time, okay, doing that stuff, all that stuff, which I'm coming out with a part two soon. How to make money from home session part two, with a whole list of other things that you can do to make money off of online, and where you can just make money off your phone. Okay, guys, gotta just do it. You know, yeah. Okay, so oh yeah, I totally forgot about the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Let me get over here. Okay, oh, Marley, you like doing qigong? Yeah, qigong is powerful. Okay, no. Oh, now they don't even have to make people feel good because people want to relate to something so bad. I know. And that's the thing, that's why you can't really be mad at people, because that's the truth. We all want to relate to something so bad because we're so disconnected. We're so disconnected. Okay? So isn't there a 13th sign? Uh Not with immediate astrology. Okay? Not with immediate astrology. Thank you, Enchanting. I appreciate that donation. I appreciate you. I really do. As far as the 13th sign, you don't use the 13th, you don't use a fucus in astrology readings. Anybody who tells you that is a novice to this. Okay. Which I've spoken about certain YouTubers who use the 13th sign. Again, they're novices. And that's why they end up in the positions that they end up in. Okay. But yeah, it's a fucus. Okay. But yeah, there's many different constellations, guys. There's hundreds of constellations. All right. Thank you, Johnny Boy. I appreciate that. Uh, but yeah, there's hundreds of constellations. Do you use every constellation for your astrology reading? No. Okay. There's planets that they keep finding everywhere. Okay. There's planets that they keep finding everywhere. Do you add these planets into your astrology reading? No. For one big reason is because they're too far away to affect you. Okay. So if we did astrology readings like that, it it would be too detail orientated. Okay. It would be too detail orientated. We would get nowhere with a reading. Okay. So what you have to do is it's called judgment. And this is what our ancestors did, was that they made judgments. Okay. What energy is affecting you the most? What's going to make a difference in your personality? because of course everything in the universe is affecting us, right? But if it's only affecting this little speck of you, right? Exactly. Or are you going to talk about something that's affecting you this much? You see? So that's why you don't bring the, because if you have, because you got to understand, anybody who brings the 13th sign in doesn't even understand math either. Because if you bring the 13th sign in, you can't just bring the 13th sign in. You're going to have to bring in the 14th, the 15th, the 16th. You see what I'm saying? Because it's mathematics. It's high level mathematics. You see? So if anybody's bringing the 13th sign in, they got to bring in more signs. You're going to have to bring in more than just a fucus. Okay. But again, like I said, that's why I say um only novices do that though, because you would understand mathematics. Not saying that you not knowing that is a bad thing. It's just, just need to study more. That's all. It's just more study. That's all. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. Oh yeah. Just thanks again, to Johnny Boy and Enchanting. Um, I appreciate that. Any, I don't care if it's 50 cents. All right, you're sharing your energy with me. Okay. So, Lene, you're saying, okay, so once I've done my astrology reading with you, okay, so once I've done my astrology reading with you, which was crazy amazing, by the way, what would we discuss in a deeper astrology reading? All right. If I'm guessing, Lene, that you received the audio, right? Anybody that gets an astrology reading me, the first thing you get is an audio with a whole bunch of information, me going through your whole entire chart. Okay. Is much is in a large aspect way. Okay. Points. I cover the main points. All right. Now, uh now with somebody other what other people do, like I actually have somebody that does weekly sessions with me. I'm not saying that you have to do that, but he does weekly sessions with me just on his astrology chart, because now we can focus on, let's just say there's something that is really important to you. Let's just say relationships is really important to you, right? Even though I covered that in your reading, but I covered it in a broad way, because as you know, the reading was most likely between an hour and a half to 2 hours to 3 hours, right? 3 hours, 4 hours. I did a reading one time, audio too. One reading one time that was 4 hours long. Okay. But there's only so much I can cover. So I try to cover the main big points. Now, let's just say you want to talk about relationships. So we can do a live session when that's one-on-one live session, right? And we can focus just on the relationship aspects. So we can get deeper into your seventh house. We can get deeper into what your Venus is doing. We can get deeper into what your Mars is doing. We can get deeper into what your moon is doing. We get deeper into the actual aspects of the moon, the actual aspects of Venus, the actual numerology of Venus. What number is it placed on in the houses? We get deeper, because this is going to bring more details. So we have a lot more to talk about. You see what I mean? So, but of course you could do this yourself. But remember, like I said, it takes research. That's why anybody that's had an astrology reading with me, right, that hasn't had a live session after that, you got to research more. That's just the stepping stones to put you in the right direction, so you can have a real reading and not the fake stuff that you get free online, right? Or or you get it from another astrologer that doesn't even talk about rulerships. Again, if you had an astrology reading with somebody and they didn't bring up your rulerships, I can't even call that person a novice. That's just a fake. The rulerships, the first thing you got to bring up. But I've had people that said they had a reading and they never even heard of a rulership before. You know, they never even heard of a rulership before. So that's just a fake person. That's just a fake astrologer. You know, and like I said, I hate to bring names into it, but we got a lot of fake astrologers. Like I said, because I try to just keep focused on what's important. So I don't like bringing names up. I know I brought up 13 signs astrology. I've brought up Nature Boy. I brought up a couple of names, but I try to keep it focused, you know. Um, so yeah. Let's see. What is a what is a good source to learn to start in astrology? Um, I always give out the same resource, which is a powerful book for beginners, which I'm going to do again for you. Hold on while I pull this up on. I'm going to put the Amazon link right in the description box. Now, guys, when you buy this, you want to get it used. Okay. Because the actual price for it is $565. But I tell you guys, real stuff costs money, man. Nothing is free in this world. If you're looking for free stuff, uh I mean anyway, if you're looking for stuff for free, I already know that you're going through a lot, or you're going to be going through a lot, but then you're going through a bunch of crap because again, when you don't understand reality, you're just going to go through a lot of crap in life. But this can save you so much pain and desperation by just following by the rules of reality. If you're always trying to get something for free, you are going to pay dearly. So here we go. I know this is a big link, guys, but you know, that's the link to, it's called Essential Guide to Practical Astrology. This is a beginner's book, by the way. All right, I have to stress that it's a beginner's book. Now, the website that I always give this website out too, that you can learn a lot of good stuff. Sacredtext.com. Again, this is just beginners, just for beginners. All right, because when it comes to learning real astrology, learning real tarot, you're gonna have to go through a lot of sources. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just gonna have to go through a lot of sources. You know, again, I've been doing astrology since I was, I don't know, 10 years old or something like that. And I guarantee you, I still find some new things out every once in a while. Again, knowledge is infinite. You're always going to keep moving. But you also don't want to downplay yourself as far as like if you want to become an astrology reader, right? And you wait and you say, I don't have enough knowledge in this yet. Because most of the time you'll just downplay yourself, because you're never gonna know everything. Okay. But if you're comfortable with the information, that's the moment you should start doing readings. When you're comfortable with the information, when you can flow off the tongue really easily. Like when somebody throws me something, I can flow with it because I'm so comfortable with it. Okay. Of course, there's stuff that I still don't know and understand. But once you get into that state of flow, which anybody who's read the book Mastery by Robert Greene, if you haven't read that book, I suggest you read it. Mastery by Robert Greene. It's like after a certain number of hours of practice and study, you get into a state of flow. Think about like basketball players; they practice so much, or any kind of sport, or any kind of or a dancer or something. Um, you just flow. You get into a state of flow. Okay. So once you feel comfortable and you're able to flow, that's the moment that you need to start becoming a teacher in whatever that is. Because, like I said, you have to be a teacher and a student at the same time. This is why you need a mentor and you also need to teach people at the same time. It's the only time you're really going to grow. Okay. So, again, let me get back to, okay. Is there any other questions concerning, you know, again, astrology is probably one of the most hardest things to learn. All right, I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, that's why I love it so much, is because I love challenges. Okay. Not everybody likes challenges, or, obviously, but, just like Kabbalah is another hard thing to really learn, man. Like you gotta be really, really patient. Haru, you're saying some knowledge takes 40 years to master. They're most likely talking about Kabbalah. Okay. Actually, people weren't even allowed to learn Kabbalah until they were like 40 something years old. So you might be alluding to that, Haru, because I've definitely heard that back in older times you couldn't even learn Kabbalah until you were like 40 years old. You just weren't ready for that information yet. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of things. You gotta start where you're at. I know, because the information is so out there, people just want to jump right into things. But you gotta start somewhere. You can't just jump into something and expect to get it right. That's like, you know, you just started playing basketball yesterday and now you jump onto a professional team. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, how does that work out? Like, no, you gotta really go through it. You have to understand. Like, you have to, again, like you just said, take your time. This is work, guys. This is why I said you need to keep a balance. You need to do this work at the same time, right? You need to do this work in your private time, but then also express the fun aspect, and then also express to taking care of responsibilities aspect as well. And if you can take care of responsibilities and have fun and do the things that you love at the same time, that's what makes it even better, right? That's why I said, if you really love this stuff, if you really love tarot, if you really love astrology the way that I do, then you're supposed to be making income off of it. Okay. Aubrey, palmistry. Um, that's a part of the great work as well. Again, that I'm not that learned in that subject. I'm not that learned in that subject, but that's a part of the great work. Understanding the palms. Okay. I got a video breaking down some of the information on the palms. It's one of my older videos. Okay. But yes, that's a part of the great work. That's part of, all of this. Again, understanding all of this. Was all one thing. It's called the great work. It was all one thing. Okay. So, but again, just to reiterate for anybody that's new in the chat room, astrology is the map for you to navigate the matrix. That's your map. If you have your astrology reading, um, like, again, like, you could this, and you really, really take heed to it though. That's the thing, because you could be given something, but you're not utilizing it. Okay, you got to utilize stuff that you've been given. All right. I know some of these things are hard. Like, for instance, the how to make money from home session that I give out, because I do have some people that are struggling with it. Then I have some people that are doing amazing things with it. They're surpassed me, and I'm jealous. I'm like, dang, man, like, you know, making like $10,000, a month off of like 4 months of using it by yourself. See, I have a team, so my $10,000, and it's like, it's not the exact same thing, of course. If you work for yourself, then it's all, But let's just say the average is around $10,000 to $11,000 a month I make offline. That's split between like 5 people. Okay, I actually have somebody that's literally making around that much by themselves. And that is the crazy thing about it. I'm like, so you're pocketing all that money for yourself, you know? So but yeah, I mean, but the thing is, you just have to really apply this. All right. So, like, if you got that information, if you had the how to make money from home session from me, you gotta put it in, you gotta apply it. You gotta do it as fast as possible, because here's how the human mind works. Here's how procrastination works, right? The longer you wait, right? The longer you wait, the harder it's gonna be for you to actually start it. That's how it always happens. Okay, you'll be like, I'm gonna start next month. Next thing you know, the next month comes in. I'm gonna start, 2 months from now. Next thing you know, you forgot you even got the information. It's happened to me. I've bought it, online sessions and stuff like. I've bought probably the most. I bought so many, you know, online sessions and stuff. That's how I know about all this stuff on how to make money online, because I bought all the courses. I'm talking about I was paying 1,000. I told you the first course, not the first course, but one course I got was from Ty Lopez, the social media marketing course. That was $1,000, guys. Still $1,000. You can go to his website right now. It's up there for $1,000. All right. And a lot of the stuff, I mean, I hate to say it, but a lot of stuff, I'm putting right in there with the session for you. So you kind of, you getting it for the low. You know what I mean? But it's worth it though, because when you think about it, you make that money all the way over. I had got Anthony Morrison's course that was I think it was like $600 or something like that. And then of course, I got some small courses that cost maybe 60, maybe 100, something like that. I even went on Udemy and bought, probably hundreds of courses on there. Lynda.com, just doing everything. Okay. So that's how you want to do this. But yeah, so again, what I want to bring it back, tarot equals the feminine because your tarot readings always change. Astrology equals the masculine because uh because your blueprint never changes, but you can change and you can go against your nature. And that could be a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, because all right, if you know you have a huge weakness and you decide to go against your real nature, right, you can avoid making a mistake because of that weakness. But you also can do the same thing with your strengths, right? You can avoid doing something that's going with your strength because you're watching somebody else. Okay. So, for example, let's talk about the first house in astrology, which is also known as the ascendant sign or the rising sign. Okay. Um, Thank you, Christina. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Much love to you. Again, thank you for everybody that's, been donating, man. Guys, I'm writing down your names. I'm gonna be sending you guys some good energy. Because I appreciate you guys. Like I really do. Um, Now, oh yeah, I was talking about the first house. Okay, so for example, the first house, right? We tend to mess up the first house, which is also known as the rising sign or the ascendant sign. So anybody that's kind of, has some knowledge in this, I'm sure you've heard of the ascendant or the rising sign. All right. So your first house, like anybody's had a reading with me, then I probably said this in your reading, where I said that your first house represents the mask that you play the best. So if you think of life as a movie, which it is a game and a movie. Okay. If you think of movies, right? If you think of actors, um, though we have many actors that play different roles, we all know with every actor, they play a certain role really, really well. And it fits them. It's like that's their role, and they get the biggest checks, they get the biggest nominations when they play that role. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing with you in your first house. Your first house represents that role that you play the best. Doesn't represent the real you, okay? Because as we know, the moon sign, that's the real you deep down inside that especially like that you like to keep hidden. Though the sun sign is, yeah, because it's your perception of reality. But that's so if you consider yourself, if we consider everybody on this planet an actor, your first house is the role that you play the best, that you can get the most out of life when you tap into. You see, you understand how important that is? Because then if you apply that, if I told you that, right, and then you start to study the sign and the planets that are in there in the first house, if you have planets in your first house, and you start applying that to real life in public, you'll start achieving more. You'll start attracting more individuals. You'll start gaining more leverage in the game of social dynamics. That's what just that one point is just powerful enough. Okay. Now that doesn't change though. That's the key point that I want to keep saying is that your first house is always going to be your first house, regardless if you use that or not. That's up to you. But best believe, here it goes. It's like a domino effect. If you don't follow by your first house rules, then that means you won't get your seventh house, which is the people that you need to bring in your existence. There's certain people that need to be brought to you. Okay. Now you can be way off your timeline. Okay. You could be way off your timeline. Now it sounds like, I know it probably sounds like I'm saying a contradiction because how what I was speaking about earlier, and I was like, everybody comes into your reality for a reason. But yes, that's true because you're on that frequency. Just imagine if you get on the frequency you're supposed to be on, then most likely you'll start being happier in life. You get what I'm saying? So if you follow by the first house, okay, you understand that when you're out there in the world in the public, and so again, look at the sign that's ruling your first house and look at the planets that are in there if you have planets in there. Okay, you can go even deeper by under getting even deeper with the aspects. I mean, what number the planet is sitting on. Again, if you got the astrology in from me, what I do is lump it all together as much as possible so I don't have to go through every little itty bitty detail. Best believe I'm analyzing it though, because sometimes people ask me, well, what about the aspects? I'm telling you the aspects. All right. I don't have to say conjunction. I don't have to say opposition. I'm giving you what it means. Okay. Giving you what it means. You, or something like that. All right. But you can go deeper though. But again, you follow by that. You put on that mask because you put on a mask either way. Because I know many people out there is like, well, I want to be real. You know, being so-called real in the terms that we understand is being really, really unflexible because you have to change according to your environment. This is why Bruce Lee told you to be like water. That was a very wise person. You see, wise people know that they have to be flexible. So the quote unquote real people are the quote unquote unsuccessful people. Think about somebody like an artist, right? Think about like your favorite artist that always says, hey, I got to keep it real. Aren't they always the struggling artists? You ever notice that? Why is that? Okay. Why is that? That is because you get hit with repercussions when you're not flexible, when you're not playing by the rules of reality. The rules of reality don't say you have to be one thing because that's not how humanity works. You're not just one thing, people. I have to tell you all the time. You're like a collage of 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 beauty. Okay, so why are you trying to put yourself in one little scope? All right. But like I said, when you go out in public, if you play that mask right and you go out into the world and you put that mask on and you do that, you're going to bring in the opposite. So let's just pretend you have Virgo on the first house. That's your rising sign or ascendant sign. That means you're going to have Pisces on the seventh house. Okay. So that means you need to attract, and I don't want to say like you need to attract Pisces people because that's not how it works. Okay. So don't go around looking for Pisces. If you do have Virgo in your first house and you go around looking for Pisces, oh, are you a Pisces sun sign? Then you need to stick with me. It's not how it works. You got to look at the traits because it could be a Sagittarius, right? All right. So, all right. Think about the traits, right? On this Pisces on the seventh house, that's free thinkers, people that are disconnected from structure. Okay, that are really, really sensitive people. But guess what? You could be a Sagittarius sun sign and be a freedom thinker and really sensitive because of the dynamics of your chart. You see? All these different aspects of your chart makes up who you are. So you could be a Sagittarius sun sign, but really, really sensitive and really spiritual and really kind of hippie-ish. You see? Don't get fooled by the cover of the book. So I keep saying we keep falling for this cover. Okay. So that also lets you know the game of chess, right? This is why the 48 Laws of Power is such a good book, because it's explaining the game. A lot of people that are sensitive don't like that book because it's too harsh for them. Those are the same people that don't understand life. Yeah, life is harsh. We got it. We get it. But are you going to continue to hide behind closed doors because life is harsh? You got to ask that question to yourself. Are you not going to reach your full potential? Are you not going to achieve your dreams and get the life that you want to live because life is too harsh and you don't want to deal with it? Are you really going to sacrifice your love and what the creator or the universe gave to you because you're that selfish to say, I don't want to go through anything. It's too hard. Can you really be that selfish? There's people in the world that need you. There's people in the world that need to be inspired by you. There's some little kid right now. There's some, 3-year-old, 5-year-old, 12-year-old that needs to see you, that needs to get inspired by you, that needs to get triggered by you. And you're going to be that selfish. There's people in the world that need to be saved by you in some way, form, or fashion. Okay. Again, we're in a masculine age now. We got to get tough skin. We got to, you got to toughen up. Okay. So you got to get out there. That's why I'm always stating, right, that you guys got to get out there, right? You know, again, utilize this information because now again, if you had the Virgo, first house, right, you know that you need to bring in those traits. You need that because you're lacking that. You probably follow by the rules too much. Again, I'm just going broad here because, like I said, it all depends on your whole entire chart. So just take what I'm saying as a grain of salt because I'm trying to just make an explanation. Okay. The echo, you're saying I really need that beginner's book. Yes, it's good for beginners, and same thing with the site, with the sacred text site. Go on there. Um. So, yeah, guys, I know I didn't really get to touch on a lot of the points that I really wanted to make, but I really don't have that much time. What I'll try to do is I'll try to get on here live again. Like I said, it kind of took me a while to put this live up because I did not know what was going on. I was like, God dang, they changed everything. Like, okay, so, but it's all good. I got it up and running as we can see. But yeah, is there any other questions before I dip out? Any other quick questions I can answer in the next 5 minutes? Give you guys time to write some in the chat room. Shout out to everybody while you guys are thinking about your questions. Shout out to everybody that's been participating. Shout out to all of you that have donated as well. Shout out to, Christina. Shout out to all of you that have donated as well. Shout out to, Christina. Shout out to Aubrey, Haru, Lene, Marley, Rich Earth. Shout out to you. Shout out to Johnny Boy. Shout out to Enchanting. Um, Shout out to you, Devin. Shout out to Ichigo Uzumaki. I'm guessing you're an anime fan. I like that. Okay. Okay, so what's a good website plug in information for astrology chart? I tried a couple. Um, I don't use those websites. They're never going to be totally accurate because they're using a computer. They're using a computer. So again, a big part of astrology and doing any of this stuff and why a computer most likely will never be able to do it. But I'm not saying never because who knows, maybe 100 years from now when robots are able to think in a cognitive way, in an intuitive cognitive way. I don't even know if that makes sense, but an intuitive cognitive, whatever. um, is being able to combine information. So what a computer does is gives you individual pieces of information, individual pieces of information. So for example, when you plug in your information, when you plug in your birth information, right? It's going to tell you individually. It's going to say, hey, this is what Mars means in the fourth house. But it can't tell you what Mars means, what Libra Mars means in the fourth house that's ruled by Cancer, sitting next to Jupiter that's ruled by Sagittarius on the fifth degree, and then your Mars is on the 22nd degree. You see what I mean? You gotta only a human being can be able to access that information. Now, the plugin websites, you can use them just to get a scope on like some of your planets and stuff. You're not going to get your rulerships. Like I say, your rulerships are most important. You can only get your rulerships by doing it by hand. Okay, so again, if you don't want to learn how to do it by hand, obviously this takes a couple years to learn how to do astrology readings by hand. There's a lot of mathematics, a lot of high level mathematics. Okay. I mean, you can figure it out, but again, you're going to need to get a book on how to do it by hand. All right. But again, you can get an astrologer to do it for you. Okay. Oh, yo, so you're saying I'm meant for the play. I have no clue because I don't use them at all. So I don't know which one would be the best to decide which placements they are. Most likely they're going to be a little off anyway, because again, with the computer system, okay. But just for a snapshot, I mean, it's free, so you can see that. All right. What part of the natal chart shows your career path? A couple different placements. You got to look at your sixth house, your 10th house, Mars, and Jupiter. Okay. Now, again, there's many different aspects, but I'm just what you need to look at. Looking at those aspects, you can get a good understanding of um you can get a good understanding of what you need to do career wise. Okay. Also, you can throw the second house in there too. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. So Echo, you're saying what are the spiritual significance of cats? Very random question. That is a random question, but I like it. It's cool. Um, you know, obviously, you probably heard that cats are connected to the spiritual realm. They can see spirit. Okay. So I don't know if you ever heard of somebody saying this, but this is really well known in witchcraft, that when a cat walks by your path, is letting you know that that is a path that you shouldn't take. Okay. Cats can they can walk through dimensions. And this is what the Egyptians knew. This is why they praised cats so much. So anybody out there that thinks this sounds spooky and it sounds weird, I mean, one of the greatest civilizations that ever was on this planet worship cats for that reason, because they were able to see multiple dimensions. Okay. So that's another reason why every witch is depicted with a cat. You ever notice that? That should give you a clue right there that they are very, very important when it comes to spirituality, because they can go through dimensions. They can see different dimensions that we can't see. Okay, so any of my people that ever had cats, right? You ever just watch them spaz out for no reason? you know, okay, they usually all of a sudden they're looking at something, then they twitch, then they go to something, you pay attention, man. I'm trying to tell you guys. But cats play a significant role, and again, that's why the ancient Egyptians praised them. Okay. So any other questions we got going on, people? Give you a little bit more, one more minute, 1 or 2 more minutes. Oh, people that take DMT usually see cats. Yeah, because they're hopping through dimensions. We can't see it. We're looking at the cat and we only see it in this dimension, but the cat is hopping through dimensions, man. This is told from our ancestors. Okay. Oh, thank you again, Johnny boy. Appreciate that. I appreciate that again. You saying I got Pluto in my eighth house, first degree. Um, yeah, I'm still not sure because I don't, I don't know what's affecting your Pluto. I don't know what your eighth house is. I don't know if you have anything else in the eighth house. I don't know what's opposing the eighth house. Again, when I do your readings, guys, I'm looking at all these things. I might not say them out loud. I might not call it opposition or a conjunction or a trine, but I'm looking at all these things and that's what I'm giving you. Okay. So I would have to look at what's opposing your Pluto in the eighth house as well to give you a description of your shadow self, because hey, that's what your Pluto represents. Your Pluto represents your shadow self. Um, and it also shows you the position, power. Okay, but it show anybody's had a reading. I tell you, Pluto shows you how you destroy and rebuild yourself. Okay, so it's a very important. I'm surprised at a lot of astrologers because they downplay Pluto's importance. Um, Now, of course, it doesn't play an important role in your personality. And that's why they downplay it because they're so focused on that one aspect, because that's what you guys want to hear. You want to hear about your personality, right? So obviously, Pluto doesn't play a big role in your personality because it's too far away. Okay. But it plays a big role in the things that happen to you in life. Okay. So that's why you need, there's three sections to your astrology reading. You have your rulerships, you have your personality, then you have your houses. The houses represent all the different aspects of life in general that you're going to find yourself in. Okay. Yeah, Ichigo Uzumaki. Yeah, of course that's been said. But again, our ancestors said something else. Now you might say, well, we didn't know Pluto existed back then. They actually did. Okay. There's actually evidence that you can find of people long ago knowing about Pluto, and it was in astrology. Okay. Again, that's just stuff they don't want to tell you because they don't want to give credit to these tribes that have no scientific anything. They're wondering, how did they know about Uranus? How did they know about Neptune? How did they know about Pluto? How did they know about all these different galaxies? Okay. Like, how did they know about these things if they don't have, you know, they don't have rockets going up, in the atmosphere? How do they know about these things? Okay. It's because they knew. All right. So, Mars and Venus, I never believed it when I heard it. I know the Dogon. Yeah. Okay. So, Black Santo, you're saying is Earth, is flat Earth. What are you saying? Is flat Earth really I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm pretty sure you're asking about the flat Earth. Now, everybody knows I stay away from that topic. You know, it's just, you know, it's just not important. I'll just leave it at that. Like, it's a shame that a lot of people waste a lot of time on these kind of topics when there's so much work to be done with ourselves in psychology. Okay, there's so much work that we need to be doing. Okay, and no, it's no disrespect to anybody that's on those topics. I'm just saying there's so much that we could be doing. Okay, that we don't have time for topics that don't matter to your success, that don't matter to your happiness, that don't matter to your family, that don't matter to your health, that don't matter to your frequency of getting out of this. You don't have to apologize, brother. Like, it's a hot topic right now. So of course you're going to bring it up. Like, so there's no need for apology. It's out there, it's hot topic. I'm just giving you the advice that, put your energy into, all those things, like I said, family, friendships, fun, the things that you love to do, your frequency, your health. Uh, you know, that's why I like to focus on uh that's why I like to focus on things that actually help your well-being. That's why I teach astrology. That's why I teach tarot, because this stuff will actually help you out in your real life. Okay. Certain conspiracy theories, it's just, of course, as we all know, we've been lied to by the government. Okay. The government has lied to us about everything. Okay. And we could take our whole entire lives just digging up all the different lies. All right. Now there are lies you have to dig up for a certain reason. Okay. There are lies that you have to dig up for a certain reason, because it's affecting your frequency and it's affecting your ability to get out of this matrix. Okay. But again, there's so many lies out there. There's so many conspiracies that you could, take your whole entire life. And some people have done that. There are truth speakers out there that wasted their whole entire lives. Yes, they were very brave to to become whistleblowers and to give us all this information of all the lies and stuff that been told by the government, but it hurts them in the long run. It hurts the individual, because they dedicated all their time to something that that didn't benefit them. Okay. That didn't benefit them at all. And it's a shame. A lot of times that these people die miserable. These people die very broken, very poor. These people die in miserable ways that, and I just don't want for any of you guys to be like that. Okay. I want you guys to have fun here. I want you guys to live. Yes, knowing these things are important. And that's why you have to bring your frequency up. That's what you should be focused on. You should be focused on bringing your frequency up. So if the truth is not affecting your frequency, family, income, your health, your career, then, it's really not important. Not saying that you can't do that in your spare time when you have nothing to do and you just want to look up stuff and you want to read stuff. That's totally fine. You want to get your intellect going. What you don't want to do is have it control your life. That's the key point. You don't want to have conspiracy theories control your life. I used to be like that, but I safely got up out of there. Okay. I made it out. Okay. Because if I was still like that, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys. I would be somewhere miserable, screaming at my computer, talking about all the lies the government has told us. The government has told us lies in everything. Just keep it at that. Okay. So again, thank you again, Johnny Boy. Johnny Boy, it sounds like you're really interested uh in your chart. So again, if you want a reading with me, again, occulthealing22@gmail.com. Guys, anybody that wants any of my services, if you're not familiar with my services, just email me, occulthealing22@gmail.com, and I'll send you a list of my services and their prices, and we can get right to it. Best believe anything that I do, I'm gonna try to give you the most value as much as possible, because that's what it's about. Especially if you pay for something, you need to get value out of it. So that's why I want you guys to take this stuff serious. And anybody that's bought something from me, I hope that you're taking it serious, because it would hurt me. It would hurt me that you paid for something and you're not using it to its full potential. So please just keep that in mind. Use this stuff to your full potential, because best believe it can really work for you. It can really change your life, and it can bring you the happiness that you desire. Okay. Uh, so okay. Yeah, it was a good talk. Like I said, hopefully I can get on the live stream again soon, and I can go into something really important. Um, if you guys have any topics that you want me to speak on, you can comment on the video once I get off the live stream, because it should be uploaded right to YouTube. Hopefully it still works like that. uh, you can comment. But yeah, contact me again for any of the services, astrology readings, tarot readings, the detox session, the how to make money from home session, the hypnosis session, um, the money spell I'm still doing, and just the one-on-one guidance too. Just if you want, one-on-one consultations with me on the phone, we can get into that too. So I'll leave you guys in good health. I'll leave you guys in peace. Namaste, Ashe. Keep them vibrations high. Keep connecting. Keep having fun. Keep doing the things that you love. Keep being great. Keep meeting new people. Keep falling in love. Just keep doing what you're doing. All right. Keep being beautiful. Okay. Thank you. Peace. And I'm out.